So just a reminder, if my internet drops, it's just because satellite sometimes sucks. So this class today is actually for Maria, who's not here yet. She's trying to get to her mom on time to do this class. But I'm just going to give the opening blurb anyway. So as you get towards time for labor, it's really important for baby to engage correctly. If baby is sitting too high, you start to hear little mumbles from the midwife, you hear big mumbles from the gynae, and they're like, that baby hasn't engaged, blah, blah, blah. I have seen babies partially engage at the beginning of labor and only fully engage towards the end of labor. I have seen that happen. Some women's hips are just like that, and then baby pops down the ski slope. But the problem is, in our current birth culture, a gynae and the midwife will very quickly call a Caesar at 8 centimeters if they don't think that baby is low enough. I, however, need to say that a baby can drop at 8 centimeters and just come straight out. So unfortunately, our birth care workers are too quick to call for the Caesars. So our job here is to ensure that from early in the pregnancy, we're creating space around the pelvis so that we don't have the voices in the back of our head telling us that our baby has not dropped well low enough by the time we come into labor. Now, Maria, who's about to come onto the class now, is going for a VBAC. So they're going to look for anything possible to say why it should go to Caesar. We don't want that to happen. We want Maria to have the best chance possible for her VBAC, but they want to see the baby a bit lower in the pelvis. So today's work is about creating comfort in the pelvis so that we can accommodate a deeper drop of baby into that pelvis before labor begins. That is essentially the work of today. And to do that, we need to lengthen the psoas muscles and then create that space through squatting cycles, lengthening and releasing. We'll also be doing a restorative bridge at the end because it may sound counterintuitive, but by lifting the pelvis, we take pressure off the pelvic floor muscles, and this can sometimes give the pelvic floor muscles the opportunity to relax. And a lot of women's babies aren't dropping because their pelvic floor muscles don't know how to relax, unfortunately. So we're going to begin by broadening the sacrum. Just keep your blocks close by. We're going to use them just now, but we'll begin by broadening the sacrum, opening the knees wide. Oh, I hope your knees are okay, Kate. You might need to just, Kate beginning with a C, not the Kate beginning with a K. You might just need to have blankets close by. Ah, she's got them. So open the knees wide, walk your hands forward, and then just rock out the pelvis a little bit, side to side. Let me put lights on. And just kind of get comfortable in the hips as you rock, and then slowly start to bring your body a little bit closer down and towards the mat. Maybe to everybody. And then take some long, deep breaths in your child's pose. Child's pose is amazing in the first stages of labor because it helps baby to descend. It creates space at the top of the pelvic bowl, not the bottom, the top, which is the area that we need to accommodate baby dropping into the pelvis, into station 1 and 2 to begin the labor. The pressure of baby's head helps the cervix to open. And if you can't get the pressure of baby's head into the cervix well enough, sometimes the cervix has a bit of trouble really finding space. Beautiful opportunity to just invite a sense of ease into the body. And also letting baby know that they are at their practice. Ah, here is Maria. And a beautiful time to drop into womb space and really listen to baby for a few moments. How does it feel in there? Caitlin, your dogs are too cute. And Cat. Maria, hopefully you're managing to get on. It's a blank screen for you at the moment. I'm just taking some long, deep breaths here in child's pose. And when you're in early labor and you're doing your early labor flow, this is the shape where you can invite awareness of the labor and the birth to come. Hi, Maria. We're in a very wide kneed child's pose, Maria. And you're taking the breath broad and wide into the ribs as well. Another 3 deep, full breaths here. Maybe the shoulders are getting a bit of a stretch. Maybe you're feeling various little discomforts in the body. Wide child's pose, Maria. We're here making space in the pelvis, wide knees. Another 2 deep breaths in your wide child's pose. Noticing how with the knees wide, the hips are moving deep into the sockets, but you're creating space at the top of the pelvis, which is the first station baby has to come down and into. Walking the hands back, come onto hands and knees, anchor the palms beneath the shoulders, and move through cat and cow. May I just remind those of you that have pubic bone instabilities, any pubic bone symphysis, you might want to take your blanket or your block and squeeze it between the thighs with each inhale and exhale. This just allows you to turn on the correct muscles to support the pelvis so that you don't get that deep achiness in the pubic arch. This movement of cat and cow is really helping to relieve sacral plate fixations at the base of the spine and allowing mobility for the tailbone, which can sometimes get a little bit stuck, and we want it to feel free so the baby can drop when the time is right. Beautiful. Tucking toes, press back, downward facing dog. Any of these inversions are amazing because it takes pressure off the round ligaments, which can sometimes be part of the problem with baby not dropping. When the round ligaments are loose, it gives space to the base of the uterus. And instead of baby bobbing, baby will gently deepen into the pelvis. Walking your palms back, place your hands on your shins, inhale, lengthen, exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep your arms up, rise. Exhale, hands to Anjali Mudra at heart center. Take 3 breaths in the standing position. Standing often in pregnancy also creates space in the pelvis. Sitting too much narrows the pelvic outlet. So you want to regularly come to stand. We're going to use the wall straight away. Just even, Maxine, you can use the top of your drawers. You know how to do it. We're going to, first of all, place our hands 10 centimeters below the level of our shoulders against the wall. Walk back. You can use a bed or piece of furniture. Press into the palms and then lengthen through the spine for our assisted half wall dog. Keep relatively neutral through the back to begin with, please. You don't need that much space. You can use a door. You can use anything at all. That's it. Door, anything at all. Good. The legs are wide. This is an incredible pose during labor as well, but this is going to make space in the pelvis. Again, it releases the round ligaments, stretches out the hamstrings, opens the shoulders, but it's really the round ligaments that we're focusing on. Keep taking long, deep breaths here. And we're going to be releasing the psoas muscles before moving into our squat cycles. Very important to release the iliopsoas. If the psoas are too tight, baby can't come down. Beautiful. Bend the knees slightly, begin to walk towards the wall. Straighten the spine, relax your arms by your side, take a couple of deep breaths. Stack your books on top of each other and you're going to be 1.5 of your feet, your size feet away from the wall. So that means if your toes are touching the wall, your other toes come to the arch of that foot that's touching the wall. And then where your heel is where you then place the blocks. And you are then 1.5 of your feet space away from the wall. Please step onto your blocks or your books with your left leg. And place your left palm on the wall, level with your left shoulder. This is important. Reach your right arm up your wall, door, or whatever space you've made for yourself. And then relax your right leg. Completely relax your right leg. And then allow it to swing. It shouldn't hit the wall. It should just swing on a very relaxed pendulum. You're not forcing the swing. You're just allowing the leg to find its own momentum. If you were just swinging your arm like this, you're not even making it move. You're just allowing it to find its own momentum. So Maria, please place your right palm up the wall, all the way, long. Right arm goes up on the wall. Which side are you standing on, Maria? Your right. Okay. Maria, step your left foot onto the wall so that we're all in the same place. Nikki, place your left palm on the wall. This is your stabilizing palm. The palm is at level with the shoulder. Right arm is long. Left palm on the wall, standing on the block with the left foot. Swing the leg. Maria, don't tilt your body towards the wall, please. Stack your shoulders over your hips so you're not leaning into the wall. Better. Keep the spine long and neutral and keep your gaze directly to the wall. I know I'm being pedantic. I know that I'm asking for all these little adjustments, but that's because if you hang your head, you'll distort the tissues down the back that connect to the iliopsoas. So keep the gaze directly to the wall and just allow that leg to swing a little bit longer. I know the left glute starts to feel like it's quite tough and that it's working. You don't want to over-contract the left glute, but just let that right leg swing. Use natural breaths. Leg just swings. It's got its own pendulum going. Knee doesn't have to bend. The leg is just weighted. The weight of the leg swinging out is going to release the iliopsoas. You'll see what I'm talking about in a minute. Okay, so it's definitely the psoas on your lower back. Maria, when you've released this, your baby's going to go. Slippy slide. Beautiful. Okay, step off the blocks, 2 feet to the ground, please. Notice first, please. So relax both arms, stand with 2 feet, close your eyes and feel. What do you feel? You should feel that that right side is lengthened and hydrated. This is an easy, simple way to release the psoas muscles in pregnancy. Hydrated, lengthened psoas muscles mean a free mind that is not contracted. Step with your right foot onto the block. Your left leg is now dangling. Your right side is now your stabilizing side. In other words, right palm is level with the right shoulder on the wall. Left arm is long and stretched up with the palm on the wall. Don't lean towards the wall, keep your shoulders stacked over your hips and just relax your left leg, then let it begin to swing like a pendulum. Keep your breath even and soft and your leg completely relaxed. There's no muscular contraction in that left leg. The muscles are just soft and floppy and letting go. The weight of the leg is hydrating the psoas on the left side now. A reminder that the adrenals sit just below the psoas. So the psoas muscles run along the adrenals. And every time the adrenals fire, the psoas muscles pick up that impulse. So if your adrenals are overfiring because you're in a high state of stress or you keep getting frights or you can't calm the nervous system, the psoas muscles become more and more contracted with that stress. And you can move your body till the cows come home, but if the psoas muscles are contracting and acting more bone-like than a soft filet mignon, then no amount of low lunges is going to release that psoas muscle. This is going to release it. Gentle breathing, just swinging that leg, allowing the psoas muscle to release and hydrate, being kind to your body, saying, hello, I get it. We go through a lot. We feel stress. But now I'm letting it go. All the traumas that settle into the body along that iliopsoas lines, we're letting it go. Just a little bit longer as you swing and allow for release. This is trauma work. It's somatic yoga. It releases deep set traumas. We don't have to know what they are. We can just invite release. Beautiful. And now you can step down off your block. Hallelujah for that right glute. Relax both arms by your side. Stand firmly on 2 feet. Close your eyes and notice how this simple exercise can have changed the frame of the body, the posture of the body. Beautiful. Pick up your books or blocks. Just be mindful of how you do that and bring them back to your mat. Place those blocks at the front of the mat and come to stand at the front of your mat with your feet more than hips distance apart. Turn the toes out slightly and sink down into your squat. Notice how easeful it was, or if there's anywhere that feels constricted. Oh yes, I know that when the belly's got really big, you're going to feel tightness at the base of the belly. Yeah, but I want you to feel if there's freedom to that squat or not. And then I'm going to give you a bit of a visual because I have very nice glutes. In other words, I've got a little bit of feminine fat on my glutes. So you'll be able to see what's going on. Okay, so this is a squat. Look at my glutes. Look at my feminine glutes, okay? Look at these glutes. What's happening with my knees turning out? My glutes squeeze in together here. The fat bunches there. My knees are turning out, the hips are coming in, and they're pushing in. I'm making space at the top of my pelvis, but now I want to make space at the bottom of my pelvis. So I turn my toes in, and I come on down, and can you see what's happened? My glutes are not squeezing and bunching, because now my knees are here, and my hips are rotating outwards, creating loads of space at the bottom of my pelvis. Now that you've had a good view of my ass. So now you can understand how a squat without turned toes and knees narrows the bottom of the pelvis, gives space at the top. If you turn the hips out and bring the feet in towards each other, broadens the bottom of the pelvis. Place your fingertips on the ground and lift your hips, fold forward. As baby gets bigger, you'll want to sit on blocks for your squat sometimes, because otherwise it feels like you've got a bowling ball coming out your vagina. And sometimes you want to avoid that feeling. Beautiful. Reach for your blocks and stack your books up on their sides, highest level, or your blocks. Step your right foot back as far as you can and push into your blocks on the inside of that left foot. Engage powerfully through the right leg, and now we're stretching the ilio area of the psoas that runs down from here into the inner thigh. We want this to find freedom and space. So keep that right leg engaged. Begin to sink your hips through an engaged right leg. No buckling knees. Keep the leg long and feel. Notice what's happening there. There's a lot. And then slowly press back and bow. Stretching out the hamstrings. Then deepen down, getting into the iliopsoas around the front of the groin into the inner thigh. And then press back, wide pyramid. The hamstrings also important because they connect how the piriformis is operating in the body. And the piriformis is part of what creates space as well. And the piriformis is a tight ligamentous muscle that runs through the butt and catches the seat bones and the hip socket. Now, flip your blocks down or your books down to flat. Walk the blocks forward and press back through your right heel, belly on the inside of the left thigh, and take some deep breaths, just stretching out the hamstrings. So when the hamstrings form a complete tyranny in the body from sitting too much, it means that they lock up other areas of the body as well, including the hips. So we're just working out the hamstrings so that the piriformis will find space, and so do the hips. I'm going to invite a squat, but a much shorter squat because you don't have to go through the trauma of looking at my glutes again. Step the right foot forward and deepen into the squat. And just feel, broadening the top of the pelvis now, notice how that happens, and narrowing the bottom of the pelvis, which is why a squat is actually not a great position to birth in. And also it overstretches the perineum, so a deep squat, the baby can sit in the bottom of the perineum here, the baby's head, and then it's pushing down into the perineum instead of pushing through and opening the perineum like that. Instead, you get a little saddle, and that's when tearing happens. Deep squats, not great for the birthing position. You rather want to be on hands and knees. Lift the hips, parallel the feet, pick up your blocks, highest level, step the left foot back, both blocks on the inside of that right. Press up firmly on the ball of the left foot. Keep that right leg super engaged. Iliopsoas work. Slowly release the hips. Push into the blocks. Get the hips low without buckling the knee. Feel that stretch. Feel it, feel it, feel it. And then slowly make your way back to your wide pyramid. Opening up through the hamstrings. Inviting openness into the piriformis as well. If you've got any sciatic issues, this is amazing for releasing sciatic. Deepening down again into the lower lunge variation. Beautiful. Take your time and then pressing back. You've got one more round of that. Really feel into the quad. Where the psoas muscle migrates to the inner thigh there, we're stretching it. It's caught the ilio muscle. Connected to that and brought it down into the inner thigh, and then press back, flatten the blocks, and just deepen into your forward fold for some breaths, really enjoying the stretch. Making space. Beautiful. Turn on your mat so that you face the long edge of your mat that feels best for you for the camera. Rotate the toes out, wide goddess. Now, because we're in a standing position and we've got the torso in an upright position here as we come down, although the hips are moving in, the hip sockets are moving in towards each other, it creates so much space in the upper pelvis that this can really drop baby down into the cervix. And I have witnessed women birth a breech baby like this with no support. They just birth. So the body seems to accommodate, the hip bones move back, the pelvis tilts forward slightly, and that baby can make its way through. So it's a good position to create a broadness to allow baby to come through. Swing your shoulders over and one side, choose any side, just swivel and work out tension through the spine, feel into that twist, and swivel the other way, and go the other way. As you trust more and more in your legs, it will create an easier labor experience, because at some point you'll realize that you are relying on your legs far more than you thought that you would have to. Let's take 3 more breaths at center. You can brace the arms, shoulders up by the earlobes, pressing firmly into the thighs as you just allow. Beautiful. And from here, straighten the legs, rotate the toes in slightly, but not parallel, for 30 degrees out, hands to the hips, lengthen through the spine, soften the shoulders, and just bring some body awareness into the torso, around womb space. How does it feel? What's happening? Remember, upright positions help baby deeper as well. If you're slung under on the couch, spending too much time knitting with your legs slightly up on the couch and the bum slightly under, it's not going to help. Do some of your rows in a squat, just saying. From here, extend the torso forward. If you've got your blocks close by, reach for them. Keep the slight external rotation of the toes. This is healthy for a female pelvis. Remember, yoga was invented by men, and we're always taught to parallel the feet. However, I have discovered that there's an accommodation and a harmony from the feet to the patella to the hips, particularly for a female body in pregnancy, with a slight external rotation. The more I have experimented with this in my own frame, the deeper I have understood how we are moving away from distortion and finding our way into harmonious feedback through all of the ligaments of the body. Beautiful. This pose is amazing in labor. Walking the blocks back, heel toe your feet, hands to the hips, rise. Or you can rise and then step your feet together, whatever works for you. Beautiful. Let's find our rocking lunge cycle. Now we create deeper space. Feet hips distance apart at the front of the mat, please. We're going to practice opening the base of the pelvis just a couple of times. Inhale, sweep your arms high, keep your feet paralleled, and bring the hips back. Baby squashes to the thighs slightly, elbows on the knees. Inhale, rise. Exhale, feel, broadening through the pelvis. Come on down as far as baby allows. And one more time. Inhale, reach the arms high. Exhale, hands to the thighs, deepen down. Pause there a moment. Rotate the toes out now. Maybe you broaden the feet and gently come all the way down into squat. If a squat is feeling too deep for you because you can really feel the pressure of baby into the bottom end, don't go all the way. You can keep your squats to here if you need to, if you're feeling that intense pressure of baby, if you're 9 months pregnant. Heel toe the feet hips distance as you press your hands to the mat. Step the right foot back and bring your right knee to ground. So I know this is a slightly more technical class and a free-flowing flow, but every now and again we have to do these classes to really become aware of what's happening in the body. If you have pubic symphysis pain, place your hands on your thighs and keep contracted, squeezing the inner thighs together as you take very gentle rocking lunges. Maria, today I want you to go down as low as you can, love, just for you. Anybody else, you can take it deep or you can keep it high. You're just going to rock those lunges out. See what works. Yep, you can use blocks if you're high up and just hold the blocks and stay quite high if you don't want to distort the pubic symphysis bone too much. But for you today, Maria, we're getting this baby down, getting you ready for that birth that is going to be magnificent. So you can take it low. Even if there's slight twinges of discomfort, because it's quick now, it's soon to the birth. Beautiful. Heel toe the left foot out to the side. Now, weirdly enough, once you've taken the knee externally out of the rim of the pelvis, you can actually go deeper and pubic symphysis doesn't feel as bad. It's when you are moving the hips forward like this that the pubic symphysis feels bad. So with the knee rotated out, you can stir the pot and it's not going to feel as bad. It's actually going to feel quite nice. But again, don't go too deep if the pubic symphysis is giving you trouble. Otherwise, find freedom, really enjoy the movement through the hips. And I cannot impress how many times in labor that we have come into this pose to rotate baby to a better position, and it's worked. Because then, did we do this in your labor to get baby to a better position? Not for you, okay. I think we just did ribosa. Beautiful. Straighten that left leg, slide the heel off to the diagonal. Let's just take a delightful stretch because it feels good. Reach the palms forward in the wide V. Keep the spine long, relax the ribs, relax the head. Check that you're not holding tension in the neck and the jaw. This is an area that gathers tension in labor. If you can relax these areas, you'll relax the rest of the body and baby down, instead of I'm holding things up by squeezing through my shoulders and tensing the jaw and the face. A relaxed body is a relaxed labor. Walking the palms back, slide your left heel for the completion of the early labor sequence. Toes rotate out, rise. So now make sure that your heel isn't too far in towards you. You want to have a space. Now we found rotation. This side, the hip bone is pressing straight up, but on this side, there's depth inward, but the rotation gives loads of space to the back of the pelvis. If you have pubic symphysis pain, don't go too deep, just do the rocking lunges to here. If you're feeling good, go deep, sweep the right arm across the body, and exhale, sweep around and back. Creating that beautiful lymphatic flow. So good. Gently come on down onto the right heel, right palm to the ground behind you. Maria, remember this shape, do it once a day until the baby comes. You want to lift the pubic bone so the baby drops below the pubic bone. Stay on the right shin, left knee out to the side, right palm to the ground. Rise and arc. If you have lower back instability, this can either strengthen the lower back or it can make it worse. So you've got to figure out what's good for you. So feel into this, Maria. You're creating space across the front body and you're giving space for the baby to drop behind the pubic bone if baby is getting stuck on top of the pubic arch. Gently come down, bring both knees together, and move through cat and cow. If your knees are sore, don't do cat and cow. Come back into child's pose, which takes the pressure off the knees, and it'll feel better. If you're feeling good on the knees, cat and cow. Oh, that's great, Caitlin, doing it in seated pose as well. Beautiful. Stepping your right foot to the front of the mat, rocking lunges. Keep it high for pubic symphysis. And for those of you who are really getting ready for that birth or aren't experiencing pain in the pubis, lovely deep rocking lunges. Finding your rhythm. Finding your breath. Beautiful. Taking it into stirring the pot, heel toe the right foot off the mat and to the side. This will feel better for pubic symphysis, but it's an amazing shape for helping baby orient to the birth canal and just taking it around and through, changing direction, rocking it out. Most importantly, just connecting with baby, your body, how it feels now, and staying relaxed in the shapes. Beautiful. Heel toe that left foot even further back now so that the right foot, so that the right heel is aligned with the left knee and rise. Right forearm to the thigh, swing low and swing high. Big breath. Beautiful. Gently settle down onto your left heel. If you're going up, come up with me. Left palm to the ground, right foot stable, 3-point back bend, safe for pregnancy. Beautifully strengthening for the posterior chain of muscles, but creating an enormous amount of space at the top of the pelvis for baby to bump off the pubic bone if that's a problem. And gently come on down. Please come onto all fours. Kate, stay as you are if you wish. Now I'm going to show you really intentionally how the external rotation of the hips can create space. Bring your knees together. You might need a book or your block. Place it between the heels and sit down on that block or book. Beautiful. Now feel. There's not too much pressure on the knees with this one, Kate. See how it feels, I'm not sure. Maybe a blanket underneath the knees and then a block under the butt will actually feel okay. So here, your hips are no longer pressing in like a squat. Your hips are actually moving outwards. So here we are creating space at the bottom of the pelvis. So the top we've created space, and now we're moving down into the base of the pelvis for space making. And just sitting in this position for a little while, doing it at night, lying back on your bolster, for you, Maria, can be incredibly useful for creating space for baby. That's particularly if the knees are okay. We'll just stay here for a few breaths, feeling. We'll take our neck releases whilst we're here as well. Left palm face it up, draw the left elbow back, swing the right hand around and clasp the left elbow. Tilt your head over your left shoulder, creating space through the right neckline. Just 3 to 4 breaths. If you're sitting on a block, there shouldn't be too much pressure on the knees. Some of us will be absolutely fine, not necessarily sitting on a block. So just see what feels good. Gently bring the head back to center, fingertips to the ground. If you don't have a birth pool and part of your labor is happening in a bath, it is so good to be in this shape with the knees together and the feet externally rotated and the hips rocking like this to get baby lower. So good. So if they're still asking, Maria, get this baby lower, you're going to get in your bath and you're going to do this shape, rocking on the knees. Let's take the right palm up, swing the elbow back, grip the right elbow, and tilt your head to the left side. A few breaths on the left neckline opening. So Nikki, for you, before you go to Park Lane, use your bath, use the water. It helps to ease the labor. And you'll end up going to the hospital, hopefully just at the right time. And using this position in the bath will be really amazing. Just creating that space. Gently come on up. We're going to unlock the knees by coming onto all fours. And then tuck the left toes under, press into the palms, push back. This decompresses the knee joint. Caitlin, you might choose to sit on your butt and then just windshield wiper your knees side to side. That's it. And then change sides, go the other way. Beautiful. And let's come into a downward facing dog and just feel the space at the base of the pelvis. So once in your dog, relax your belly completely. Take a few full deep breaths through relaxed ribs as well. Okay. Beautiful. Separate the feet, walk the hands back, relax squat. So we're going to be here for a minute. So if you need to, take your blocks or books, stack them up, sit down on the blocks or books for a deep and relaxed squat. If there's no need for the blocks or the books, don't use them. Just take a free standing squat and breathe deep. Now, as you take this freestyle squat, relax the pelvic floor muscles. Notice how it's actually quite scary, because you might feel, okay, there's pressure on the bladder. If I relax, what's going to happen? Just make that mind-body connection that sometimes it's okay to relax and just notice what happens. And then notice how difficult it is to truly relax those pelvic floor muscles.
But in labor, the more that you can relax the muscles, the easier the labor will go, the less is held up, and the fuller the pelvis becomes. And you want a full, deep down baby. Beautiful. Another 3 deep breaths. So squat, 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 Maria, towards the birth. This will help the baby down. Fingertips come to the ground, lift the hips, heel toe your feet, hips distance apart. Releasing sacral plate fixations. Once again, bend the knees, wrap your hands over the thighs, fingers onto the inside of the thighs. Inhale, gaze up. Exhale, cold tail under, hug around your baby, and just keep going. Creating mobility through the pelvis. This can feel really good to do at any point in the day as well, to just release tension from the lower back. Nice. Beautiful. And then inhale, rise. Relax your arms by your side and simply feel. Again, mountain pose. That means you're standing upright pose. Amazing. To allow gravity to help baby down. Again, while you're here, just note how it feels. The relaxation of the pelvic floors. And I mean, there's so much weirdness that comes up as baby gets bigger. That burning sensation in your vagina all the time with the pressure of baby. Everything starts to feel really weird. The hips also start to burn. There's so much that happens down there. And then it's instant relief. Baby's out. It's like, whew, space. Beautiful. We're going to take a little series to now complete the opening of the iliopsoas and then find a restorative bridge. So taking your cushions, you can have 1 or 2 cushions stacked on top of each other, but let me just show you what I'm aiming for to begin with. Okay, what I am aiming for is the edge of my hip on the bolster, and then when I come down, my arms are long, but I'm now going to swing my bottom leg forward and caterpillar my top leg back. So let's begin on the right side and we'll open the left side. So the hip is on the bolster, the rib basket comes and the shoulder comes down towards the floor, and the further back you take your left leg and forward you take your right, the deeper the stretch will be. But you don't want to roll onto your back. You want the left hip to be more or less stacked over the right, and then the left leg moves back. So right leg scissors forward, left leg moves back once you're in the shape. And then this just opens the iliopsoas through that left side, continuing to find space that is needed. Right leg, slide it forward, left leg back. You can reach both arms over, framing your face and praying your palms if you wish, if that feels stable enough for you. So the trick with restorative shapes is to release, relax, and let go. Now, if taking that straight left leg is too intense to work behind you, yeah, you might need a little bit more height there, Maxine, and it's also simply because of your flexibility. So that left leg behind you, if it feels too intense and there's a tweak in the lower back, bend the left knee slightly and push the outer ball of the big toe onto the ground. And that will relieve some of that lower back tweak maybe. So just experiment a bit. We're going to be here for another minute, just letting go, relaxing, breathing, softening. Just be in the shape, opening that side channel of the body. So we have meridians that run through the body, and the meridian that runs up the inner side of the leg here and up through the side body and all the way up to the neck is a kidney meridian. So we're working into the kidney meridians here as well. When the meridians get congested, so does the mind, body, whole body space. When we open the meridians, we also create space in the body. Beautiful.
Now, important the way that we come out of this, please slide your right leg back towards your left with bent knee, and then slide your left knee on top of your right. Spend a moment here. The less hurry, the better. And now we're going to take the restorative stretch on the other side. So press your left palm into the mat and gently come up, and then swing on over to the other side. Make sure that your hip is just on the elevation of the cushions. Firm bolsters definitely help, but firm cushions can work well as well. And then the shoulders down to the ground, arms overhead. Now, your left leg will swing forward and your right leg is going to work back. Yay, Ira, the internet worked for you today. Good to get a whole class in. And now we're working into the ligaments along that side. And you know, these are areas that can become surprisingly tight, and we don't even realize or recognize that it's been happening. Lovely. There's ease in the breath. You can always caterpillar that right leg further back if you want to explore a deeper stretch for the last breaths. If it's feeling good just as it is, then no worries. Another way to find that slightly deeper stretch is to squiggle the shoulders back a little bit so that you create a bit of a C curve through the spine and back, and the ribs will roll open slightly as well, and then you'll find a full body opening side stretch. So just playing with the shape slightly if you wish. Last breaths here. Then take your bottom leg first, bend it and bring it closer to the mat. Then gently lay the top knee on top of the bottom. Take a moment there to relax the pelvis. So it's quick movements that can sometimes create that lightening sensation through the body. So we want to become familiar with how to move consciously and slowly as the pregnant body gets sort of more full. Beautiful. Here you can press your palm onto your left palm onto the ground again and slowly, or your right palm, and slowly rise. We're going to roll onto the bolster now for the restorative bridge. So if you wish, you can take blanket and make your bridge slightly higher or not. It's up to you. But come down onto your side body and make sure that the full area of the sacrum is supported here and the shoulders comfortable on the ground. If you feel dizziness or nausea, you can always roll on over and choose to just come into a side lying position. But if you can, take the bridge for a little bit. Like I said, it may sound counterintuitive. However, taking bridge daily coming up towards the birth is an amazing way to relax the pelvic floor muscles enough to allow the baby to descend deeper if you're having trouble with pelvic floor muscles holding baby up. And once you are here and able to feel that release on the pelvic floors, because baby's no longer bringing its weight into those muscles, it's going to feel pretty amazing. Relax into the breath and just soften.
This is our final meditation before I'll leave you in your Shavasana. So I'm just going to speak into a little bit of feminine wisdom here. We all go on a very, very deeply feminine journey when we move through pregnancy. And we are entering a massive collective rebirth of humanity at the moment, as we once again connect with the womb of God and the feminine vibration of creation. So this rebirth is unfolding for all of us, particularly in pregnancy on a very personal level, as we reclaim our womb space, as we reclaim our wombs. And this reclamation of every woman's womb as a temple of sanctity and universal creation is the only thing that's going to heal our earth. And it's really about the indwelling feminine creative spirit that is acknowledged as the origin of creation. And unfortunately, the cosmic importance of this womb consciousness was denigrated so much over the centuries that we have to heal our world through our wombs. And we literally begin to birth a new world into beginning and into being once again through our wombs and the birthing of these children. Because the source of our current catastrophe on earth is the loss of our connection to Divine Mother. And with this loss, separation from the nurturing divine feminine womb. And our studies show that when the sacredness of motherhood and mother-child bonding is interrupted by trauma and separation, it creates a fragmented, associated and disruptive species. So we are in a revival of consciousness and conscious bonded mothering. And in just several generations, a profound healing can take place, and we are this journey of healing. Our holistic consciousness restored, the epigenetic, how can I say it? The epigenetic innocence reclaimed for a new generation. Gently roll onto your side and take some moments lying on your side. Again, relax the pelvis. We have to remember that no matter how hopeless the world appears, it is our responsibility for this new generation that we bring in, that we can renew and heal in only a few hundred years if we collectively focus on honoring and restoring the feminine dimension of God within ourselves, the great goddess source. May we walk in love. May we walk in unity. May we walk in the light, for the work that you do is magnificent. Namaste, my friends. Please find a comfortable position for the last couple of minutes of your relaxation. May you have a beautiful day, and I honor each and every one of your journeys as you carry these babies into an interesting world.